Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. Got my Thunderbird, my own Thunderbird on the bench. It's been almost 6 months since I restrung it and checked settings. So from summer to winter, I tried a different brand of strings on this only because I had them. Not happy with them. I am going to my Roto Sounds. I'm not going to tell you the brand that these are, but after 6 months, they're just sticky and gooey, and they just don't last like the other ones. So we're going to do a restring on this guitar and come along for the ride. Let's get to work. You've seen this guitar before, and yeah, time flies. It's been almost 6 months since we did this guitar. A lot of miles on this bass, and I've been playing it a lot. I do not like these strings. They are basically the same size that I always use with the Roto Sounds that I put on all my J basses. This guitar doesn't get worked out as much as the other guitars. Those are my 1 and 2. But I still play it a lot, and I've actually been playing it quite a bit more recently. I think too today I'm going to dress the frets because they're looking a little green. Well, not green, but you know, they're starting to show a little tarnish. So let's destring it and get to work. So restringing my Thunderbird. All right, you. What are you doing? You're gonna tell me this doesn't work on there? Is that what you're gonna tell me? Wow. Yeah. I've been saying it right along. I do not like this one. I'm gonna get the Music Nomad one. Not happy about that. Do not like that at all. Pause quickly. Sorry about that. The only reason I paused was to put a note on I have a board over here that I use to keep track of the videos that I'm shooting and just put general notes in the shop. And the board is about this big, and I need one that's about that big because we're always busy and I never have enough room on there just to keep track of what I'm doing. So we're going to do this one by hand. It's no big deal. Unwind them, de-string it. These come right off. They only set in there. Not my favorite style. To reiterate, you can check out previous videos on this bass. It's got a hip shot on it because I never ever liked the Gibson, their version of the Tune-o-matic bridge for this bass. It was basically a piece of junk. And I put a hip shot on there, and that thing works like a charm, and it always has. Wow, I haven't restrung any kind of guitar or instrument by hand. I always have a tool in my hand, you know? So it'll only take a few more extra minutes. Because all we're going to do is really restring this guitar. I don't think it's going to need any other adjustments, but as always, we're going to check those adjustments. You know, neck relief and string height and all that good stuff. It should be pretty quick. Actually, you know what? I think I am going to do a quick fret eraser on this. Because they're looking like they need it. They're looking like they need it. Fret erasers. That looks like the right one. Certainly, that'll work just wonderfully. You know my mantra on fret erasers. This one we're going to do Hasn't been done in a long time. Get them shined up. So 180. And then we go to 400. Yeah, you take all the goo off the top side. And if they're really bad, you start at 180 and you move your way up. Yeah, most definitely. Very dirty. Sometimes I use sandpaper on this. A wet dry type sandpaper. And if I really want to shine them up, I use a diamond grit type sandpaper, but we're not doing that today. Let's just get them cleaned up. I'm going to pause while I go through this process. It is a 3-step process. You go 180, 400, and then to 1,000, and it shines them up nicely. And it also makes a much smoother, better playing experience. Stand by. Fret eraser, cleaned up all the frets. This guitar's got a lot of miles on it. It has been played a lot, and it still gets played quite a bit. So we're going to put the good strings on it this time. I did not like the last strings I had on there. They just never felt right. I've gotten used to these roto sounds, and I like them. We're going to live here. So you go 1, 2, and maybe just a bit past it. Snip it off. Yeah, that's why. That's the only thing I don't like about that bridge. It's not like a Fender. They pop out. I think we're going to have enough to put 3 wraps on there, maybe 2.5. Let's see. Old school, wrapping it by hand. Well, let's see. I'm sure these strings will sound better on here. If you think strings don't make a difference, they do. You gotta. It's personal preference, so you gotta kind of play around with them yourself. Hey, do you guys want to watch the whole thing by hand? Why not? We got 2 full wraps and starting a 3rd. 1, 2, just a bit past. Get on here, and as usual, the first wrap goes on top, and all successive wraps want to go down the string peg, the machine, so that you get a good break angle. Now, Gibson tends to have a built-in angle. The headstock kind of tilts down that way anyhow. I don't like the way that looks. See, I got too used to using a power tool. I didn't get that first wrap exactly right. And this is where it takes time. Sorry about that. Make sure they stay below. Make sure the ball end is seated where it needs to be. And it will push up as it comes along. Assuming that your string stays, the ball end stays in the saddle, bridge. Wow, I really did get so used to using a power tool. Not going to tune it yet. Well, I like that. Just beautiful. Past. I know this is taking a little bit longer than usual, but that's because I said in a previous video, I don't remember which one, I did not like the peg tool that went onto my power tool. It is stiff. It's not rubbery like the Music Nomad one, and I'm touting their product, yes. And it doesn't even fit on these tuning pegs. That's weird. My old one, my old Music Nomad one died, and I got that one. Don't like it. If it doesn't work on every single guitar or bass guitar that I try, then it doesn't do me any good. So the Music Nomad one is a little bit rubbery, and it tends to, even if it doesn't fit exactly, it's flexible, and it will actually get on the machine peg. I'm going to put that whole string on there and see how we do. I think we're going to do just fine. The more wraps you have, the better, within reason. You don't want to have too many where they start to ride on top of each other. But you want at least two. That's what locks in your string on the tuning machine. And it will never come out of tune because of that. It'll come out of tune for other reasons, but not for that. Did I leave too much on there? I don't think so. I don't think so, because it's the small strings. I'll show you the tuning machines. You see how they're all wrapped around here, and you got a couple of wraps on each one, minimum two. You want two going into three. I think this one's got just starting on the fourth, but it's the small string. It's fine. Let's get the tuner on. I have no idea where we're at. We're going to find out. This one I'm going to tune to 440 pitch. All my other guitars, I tune them to half step because that's where we play in my band. That's where the singer likes. It's a relatively common thing. I'm not a big fan of it, but that's the way it is. But this one, we're going to tune it to pitch, 440. And if I have to tune it down, I will. Come on, G. Where you at, George? This guitar has always been, I've had it for almost 30 years. And it has always been an extremely stable instrument. Kind of guitar you got to throw down a flight of stairs to make it go out of tune. Then I'd be surprised if any of this is off. And we're all dead on, except the G, and the G string wasn't all tuned all the way up. It was a little flat. Still a little flat. That surprises me. I'm going to have to get in there and remove our saddle. Check it one more time. Oh no, we're good. Like I said, I would have been surprised if it was off, because last time I strung it was 6 months ago, and I checked all that stuff. Yep. These strings, they got to stretch a little bit. That on. Okay, we're all good there. Let's check the neck relief. Different strings can have different tension, but not usually that enough to affect your neck relief. Alright, capo at the 1st fret, hold the body joint, 7th fret, 12 thousandths. Yeah. Seems a little tight. That could be because of humidity, and we are currently in a very dry state here. And in Florida, it can be really, really, really humid or really, really, really dry. And we're in the middle of winter, and yeah, we just had a front come through, and it is drier than a popcorn fart. Semi-arid. I'm going to say it's a little tight, but I'm not gonna change it, and I'll tell you why. Because I know I just did it 6 months ago when it was summer. Oops. Why do we do that exercise? To see if it's buzzing, even before we check the string height. Because the string height should be right at 564. So let's check it out. A little bit more light on the subject. Right at 5. A little bit low. I think I'm going to raise up the action slightly. Actually, instead of that, the E string is maybe 1/64 higher than the rest of them. It's just at 5, and nothing's buzzing, so I'm going to lower just by a skosh to catch up with these. These are almost at 5, and that's where I left it at 5/64, and I'm going to say that probably we could lower the action on the E slightly, which would be, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I am mistaken. Is it 1/16? Let's find out. I just want to lower it because I'm a nut. Like, not even a half a turn, probably a third of a turn. And I'm going to put the wrench away because I'm going to almost guarantee that's perfect to get it to where the other strings are. Yep. fella. Yeah. 5. Why am I having such trouble seeing today? No, I don't like that. 5, and I'm gonna raise these two. You see what a nut I am? They all have to be the same. OCD much? Yeah. I like them to follow the radius, and since this one's at 5, I'm going to set them all there. That's where they should be anyway. 1/16. And if I was doing your guitar, I would do the same thing. You can't stand it that they're not all the same, and they should all be the same. There's no excuse for them not to be. This one and this one are the low E and the G, or the G. Excuse me. The A and the D are slightly lower. Can't explain it. It's one of those cosmic things in the universe. Let's assume, because that's where I put the low E. I'm going to bet you that those are right where they need to be now. Could be micro differences in the strings because we did change string brands. 5. I don't know if you guys can see that. God, what an idiot I am. Let's get it right on there. Almost 5. Huh. Well, sometimes things don't cooperate, but that's all right. We'll make them cooperate. Another slight turn on the A and the D. Will get us up to where we need to be. You know what I always say, you never know. 5/64. 5, 5, 5. Now we're dead on across the radius. That's what you want. Why would you have 5/64, 4, 4, 5? No, you want them all the same all the way across. You follow? You dig it? Let's tune her back up and play it and see what it sounds like. We know our neck relief is good. We raised the A, so the A went sharp. We know our intonation is good. And we know that our string height is good. And now we know we have really good strings on it. Roto sound, except no substitutes. I just played this old girl the other day. I know what she sounds like. Now, pardon my microphone on the camera because it doesn't like to pick up bass. this guitar sounds. It's one of my favorites. It has always been. Got a lot of miles on it, a lot of gigs. Upwards of 800 gigs on this little guitar right here. Gibson Thunderbird. Yahtzee. And in many ways it plays better than my number one and number two, but I like those guitars. They seem sturdier. I can't explain it. They're heavier, first of all. They're heavier than this instrument. Sorry, let me adjust the camera. This instrument is very light, and that's, I think, why I put so many gigs on it over the years, back when I was on the road, because the Fenders styles, and especially when you're talking about alder, very heavy wood. This one I think is mahogany. It's a little bit lighter. But the neck through type of setup on these guitars, this is all one piece of wood from there all the way to there, and they glue these two pieces together onto it. Very stable, very lightweight, and very powerful instrument, by the way. The humbuckers in this thing just bump. I'm going to pull that one up slightly. What's going on here? Get the right tool. Oh, no, we're good. I don't like that. But amazing instrument. Amazing instrument. If you've never played a Thunderbird, I recommend it. Is it for everyone? No, it's a different kind of guitar. Different instrument. Like I said, since I started out playing jazz basses, went to this one, played this one on the road for over 10 years, and used the jazz bass as a backup, which I never touched because this instrument was just such a workhorse. And then over, the course of time, this one has taken a back seat to the jazz basses that I built for myself. And now those are my number one instrument. And to play this one now regularly like I play those, it's foreign. It takes a couple of songs, a couple of numbers to get warmed up to this guitar after playing those type of instruments. But different. Everything is different. It's all good. They're all great instruments. I hope you dug what I did. If you like what I do, if you dig what I do, like and subscribe. This is Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We worked on my Gibson Thunderbird today. I hope you had fun. We'll talk soon.